I'm going to talk about it next class, but it's this empathy thing. When you connect with people around the world in different places, things have meaning in a different way. And there's no reason for anybody in this classroom to be thinking about what's going on in Afghanistan if you don't know anybody there. And you don't have to feel bad about it. Like, oh, I should know, I should follow the news. No, you don't. They don't follow your life. Why would you follow their life? But when you do, and when you are connected, either to your next door neighbor or to someone on the other side of the world, then it starts to matter. And it matters in a different kind of way. And it's just as heartfelt and heart-wrenching as if it's someone in your own family. And so it just happened today. I mean, I'm walking around with just so many tears because, when you have a friend and you think he's going to live and then you think he's going to die and then he's going to live and then he's going to die. And it's heart-wrenching. It's heart-wrenching. So I keep saying that's all I'm going to say, and then I say more because the tears are right here. So that's me. I guess, go to the next slide. Maybe that's also me. And this photo says something about me that I think has some value. And first off, that's my father. So my father was 55 when I was born. My mother was 45. They weren't following the blue-green thing. They didn't care. Pink. I had a doll. That's my doll. Giraffe, pink onesie or whatever that's called. I lived outside the box. Even as a kid, I was taught to be outside the box. You don't have to follow the rules. You don't have to follow other people. And so I did that. And I learned that. And I kind of have lived my life like that in so many different ways. And that's how I am. That's how I express myself. So no matter what, as we move along, as we go through the semester, I think it's really valuable for you all to have this idea that this is not necessarily a traditional class, and I'm not necessarily a traditional person. That I'm really comfortable with things that many, many other people are not comfortable with. I'm comfortable in awkward moments. I'm comfortable having conversations that really make other people nervous. I'm comfortable in situations that would make other people nervous. I'm comfortable dressing in pink and holding a doll. I still would dress in pink and hold a doll. It just doesn't matter. And so in many ways, this class will reflect that. And also that quote there is a pretty cool quote. And my father died when I was 9. And then I was largely took care of myself. And I grew up in the working class in Toledo, Ohio. When he died, things were really tough. My mom she worked as she didn't make a lot of money, and I was buying my own school clothes when I was like 12 years old. So it was, and it was good. It was really good, and I didn't take school seriously. I encountered or I met marijuana when I was 12. Had my first really cool experience when I was 13. And then that was the moment when my mind opened, not to school, not to getting grades and not to learning, but not to following the rules, but to following my own path. And luckily I was able to not fall down the rabbit hole, but I didn't take school seriously. I never took home a book, ever, in all of my school years. Don't recall ever studying for an exam because I didn't take home a book. So how would I study for an exam? I didn't care what grades were. My mom didn't look at my grades. I didn't care. I knew all I needed to get was a D or a C. And I never thought about going to college because kids like me didn't go to college. I didn't know anybody that went to college. And it wasn't in the plans. It wasn't part of it. And so I wasn't encumbered by that. I wasn't really it just didn't get in my way from learning. And I used to go to the library, and I'd bring home a stack of books. I'm not kidding you. I'd bring home a stack of like 10 to 12 books, and I would just pour through them. And then I would go back and I'd bring more home. But these were books I wanted to read about all sorts of things. I never knew what I was going to bring home. But I didn't care about grades. It just didn't matter. After in high school, I don't know what my GPA was. It was like 2.3 or something like that. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I scored in the 51st percentile of the SAT or the ACT, so I am above average, which is really all you ever really want to be. Is kind of somewhere around average, and a few things you want to be above average. So 51st percentile puts me above average, and that's pretty cool. And I have the wrong mask on, and this mask is going to drive me crazy. Hang on one second. Dude, thanks, man. There we go. All right, man. So, when I finished high school, I was playing in bands. I played in bands. I started playing drums when I was 12. Also, started playing in bands, and we were always playing music. And I wanted to be a rock and roll star, not a star. I just wanted to play music. After high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm telling you about myself because you need to kind of have a sense of where I'm coming from to get it. You have to have a certain trust in me. To really to learn in a class like this, you have to have a sense of trust of the instructor, because these are really highly contentious issues, and we're going to be all over the place. We're going to talk about a lot of really sensitive things. You have to have a certain trust of where, or a certain sense of where I am. And when you have a sense of where I am, then you can develop a certain trust. Okay. I started college. Because I got into college because I later realized it was the University of Toledo that they accepted everybody. So I got in. First semester I actually got C's, surprisingly. I was an accounting major of all things. Accounting, like holy smokes. But then I would start a quarter, and I'd start with like 15 credits, and I'd end up with 3. One time I started with 16 credits, I ended up with 1. It was a racquetball class. And I even got a C in that because I just didn't want to do it. But you could do that back then. It wasn't that expensive. So, it was a different kind of world. And after two years, I started my 3rd year, and I moved to a community college, a 2-year college. And I said, well, maybe I'll get my 2-year degree. And I'll just, I was painting I had a small business, and I was playing music still. And I said, maybe I'll just get my 2-year degree. And I took 4 classes, and I stopped going to one, then another, and another. I had one more class that if I dropped out, I knew that was it. That was it. I'd never go back. And I was walking to class, and I saw in the library was there, and I went in the library because that's what I always did, right? And I was looking at stuff, and I saw this article about prisons, and I said. And I just started looking at it in this journal, and I said, you know what? It just captured my imagination. And I said to myself, I feel like that would be fascinating to work in a prison. And so I went on, there was a phone on the wall, and I called it was a social work department I called, and the guy said, yeah, come on over. And so I enrolled in social work, and then I became a student, really a student. I mean, I really, really, really became a student. I mean, I still didn't care about grades, but it didn't matter. Grades didn't matter. I just wanted to learn everything I could about anything in the world, anything and everything. There's nothing that you could put in front of me that I didn't want to learn about, and that continues to this day. And so I finished college with a 2.9 GPA. Somehow I managed to pull that out, and I went to graduate school, and then I ended up getting my PhD, and I got here because my girlfriend at the time was here working on her PhD, and I was living in Ecuador doing research. And I just came up here on a whim, and here we were, and that was back in 1990 and still here. So life is like that sometimes. And then I started teaching this class, and nobody else wanted to teach it. And they said, listen, do you want to do it? And I said, I don't know. It's like, I didn't have a background really. And I mean, I did because I travel a lot. I did a lot of things. I was really interested in other cultures and stuff. But I said, all right, let's do it. And it just became utterly fascinating. It just really, so it has now, been part of my life. And I met really awesome people. And now, I have a team in Afghanistan that we're, getting out, right? So, like, it's awesome. Yeah, so that's me. A little bit about me. There's a lot more, I suppose, but okay. Wait, go back. That quote by there, it's formal education, right? I don't want to say too much about this, but I would beg of you. I beg. It's first off, this class, it's designed so that you do the work. You jump through the hoops, right? But the hoops aren't bad hoops, right? Like the readings are really cool. They're free. They're online. They're all good stuff. Like there's videos, there's readings, there's these writings that you do in Packback. There's World in Conversation dialogues that you'll do, including maybe continuing with some folks in Afghanistan. There are a lot of. It's like you come to class, you do it, and if you do it, you get mostly the grade you want. 50% of you will get A's. Another 20% will get A minuses. And, the grading scale is really narrow. It's like 95 to 100 is an A. But half of you will get an A because you'll just do the things you need to do. It's not that much work, but it's work. I mean, you do it, right? But what happens is if you do it, you really get something. You really do. Like there's good, really interesting videos that you'll watch. It's not textbook and stuff like that, right? So my goal is that you will take this class and not worry about the grades, since most of you will get an A or an A minus because you'll do what it is you need to do. And it won't be like a big surprise for you. And I think it's really interesting stuff, okay? So the curiosity survives a formal education. It's just like what my experience, and the reason I kind of would skip class and, in high school, I'd, skip class, go out on the railroad tracks and get high. And then I'd sneak back in the school, and I'd go down in the library, and I'd sit in the back of the library, and I'd read books, because, I'm not going to go to class. Like, that's terrible. That's, like, oppressive. But the book that I'm reading in the back of the library is my gateway to the world, So, like, oh, my God. Anyway, I find this kind of thing, at like Penn State, where everything is, about the grade and I don't know, just doesn't. But I'm not going to do the whole parent bullshit thing. You learn that on your own. You get to a certain age and you look back and you learn certain things, and that's just kind of how it is. All right, we'll go to the next thing. Okay, so listen. We're talking about really contentious things, and there are a lot of political pieces involved in this, and in the conversations that we're going to have, and the political pieces that also are connected to what I bring into the room, and then what you bring into the room, and our beliefs, and how this all works out. I'm a very complicated character. I have belief systems. I have ideas and thoughts from all over the political spectrum. Depends on the issue. It depends on whatever it is. I mean, to last summer, not this past summer, but the summer before, I was heavily criticized by people on the left. And, I didn't, people thought I just wasn't left enough. I wasn't progressive enough. This was the emergence of the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's just like the reemergence of it, I should say. And really the gelling of that movement, just really watching that, just a bold coming together of human beings, all kind of funneling themselves into a particular cause. And it's really, when that happens, and when so many people do that, whether it's, right, left, center, it doesn't really matter. It's really an amazing thing. So that summer I was heavily criticized. I was criticized for not being left enough, not being progressive enough, right? This guy's too conservative, he's this, he's that, whatever, right? He's white. It's like, I don't know what my whiteness had to do with it. Well, it has something to do with it. And in this class, it has everything to do with it. But this past summer, I became the face of, for all conservatives in America to hate. So, like, I was the face of critical race theory in the U.S. So Fox News did a couple pieces on me. Some of the other right-wing media did some pieces on me. God, I got probably like 500 hate emails from people really on the right. I mean, the summer before it was people on the left. The last summer it was people on the right. Just some, we talk about it later. I don't even talk about it on the first day, but like maybe some of you must have know about it, or everywhere I go, somebody knows. But wow, man, when just to be the recipient of so much hate. But in any case, that's another story. Again, we can talk about it later. But from people on the right who created and fabricated these stories about me based on some of the video that we're shooting in here. Wait, hang on a second. Can I talk to Yellow for a second? And we will, those of you who are part of the whole sort of Fox News watching, whatever crowd, we will have conversations about those pieces, but not today, not this week. And later, we'll have it coming up. All right. So anyway, politically speaking, I'm really all over the place. That's where you want me to be. You really do. If you're a progressive and you're left, you really want me to talk about these issues and make a really good progressive argument and a really good conservative argument. Because if I'm not making a good conservative argument, then you're not learning anything. You don't have anything to push up against. So if I'm like, yeah, if you're a strong supporter of some liberal progressive issue, whatever it is, immigration, I don't know what, you want me to come at that. You want me to question it. You want me to show you the ways in which you're wrong. Because only when I show you the ways in which you're wrong, it's not that you're wrong, but you want me to I'm going to say this differently. You want me to make an argument that tests the validity and thoughtfulness of your way of seeing the world. Because only by being questioned can you fine-tune, sharpen, and strengthen your argument and how you see things. Because if you say something, and I'm just like, you say whatever you say, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine, and I just let it go, then you walk away thinking that you know something. But if I say, wait, hang on a second, bro, what about this? What about that? And then you respond to me, and I say, no, I disagree. How about this over here? And we keep going. Then you're being challenged. So if you're progressive, you need me to come in and make some really good, more conservative arguments. Because that's how you're going to learn. And if you're more conservative, you need me to come in here and make some more really progressive, left-leaning arguments. Because that's how you're going to grow. And no matter what happens, what you all need to know is this, and I say this all the time, and it's really, really important. Whatever you think of your politics, okay, whatever you think of your politics, understand that 25% of this classroom sees themselves as left or far left. 50% of the classroom, you see yourselves as moderate. Some left stuff, some conservative stuff, but you're all kind of all over the place. And 25% of the classroom see yourselves as conservative or far right. And so if the far right people, if I'm not making a far right argument or a statement that you all would think like, oh yeah, I agree with this guy, and like Sam Richards, yeah, like what an idiot, because he said this in class, or he said that in class, and whatever, right? Well, listen, the people over there are going like, oh yeah, I love Sam Richards. Yeah, he made that really cool left-wing progressive argument, and that I agreed with. Meanwhile, what you don't realize is these people over here think I'm an idiot, and hate the fact that I said what I said. And then you, when I'm saying something that you like, and you're like, oh yeah, I agree with that guy. It's like, okay, good, I'm really glad he said that. And he's like, tell those people the way it really is. Those people, whoever those people are. But what you don't see, if you're not thinking about it, is that those people over there are thinking, this guy's an idiot. Or this guy's wrong, or I totally disagree. How could he possibly say that? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard, or he's wrong, or this or that. You know what I mean? And you all in the middle, you're just confused. Or, which is really, yeah, be confused. I'm confused. Being confused is really where you want to be 99% of the time. Me, I wake up every morning, the first thing I do is pull my head out of my rear end and say, okay, world, I'm going to start the world again. And then within 10 minutes, I'm confused. I see something and I'm just, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't know what I think. I think so many things. So anyway, so my politics are going to be all over the place. And that's going to come out in the teaching in this class. There are times when I will make really, really conservative, what would be considered Fox News-worthy arguments. In fact, the pieces that Fox did on me and the other right-wing media, they were actually really conservative things that I was saying, but what they did was they pulled this. I'll talk about them later. I'm actually going to redo those classes. We're going to have fun with it. In honor of Fox, I'm going to redo the whole class exactly as I did it, and you can see what I did, and you can see how they play with it. But what they did was just pull out this clip to make me look a certain way, right? Which is like, dudes, if you'd just showed the whole clip, you actually would have invited me onto Fox News as a presenter to say, like, this guy is so right-wing radical with this idea. I can't believe he just said that in class. Bring him on. Let's go. Talk to him. Like, they would have showed the whole clip. But they didn't. That's not what they wanted. And the left wing does it also. Everybody does it. But that's a different kind of thing. So I'm a teacher. My job as a teacher is to do, in equal measures, provoke and inspire, but always to confuse. If you don't leave this class more confused than when you entered, then I have not done my job. I will surely leave the class more confused than when I entered, because if I make any kind of really interesting and thoughtful arguments and show you some things and you talk to each other, like, if I'm doing that, you're going to get confused. I confuse myself easily. Every time I open my mouth, I confuse myself. Okay, so that's personal beliefs. My own personal beliefs, by the way, I almost don't have any. I wake up one morning and I'm like, let's take like abortion, right? I wake up one morning, I'm like completely anti-abortion. Like, oh my God, the whole thing. By noon, I read something, I'm like, oh yeah, well, abortion rights, that's really, really important for women all over the world, you know? By 5 o'clock, I'm back to, who knows, I have no idea, right? So the point is, I'm all over. That's where you want. That's where you want me to be, okay? This is sociology. If this was OChem, organic chemistry, that's not what you want. If this is structural engineering, that's not what you want. You want your instructor to be really thoughtful and clear and so on. But this is sociology, y'all. This is different. This is race and culture. This is a very different thing. Okay. Hey, by the way, it's not bad being a mass, right? Like, it's all right. You just get used to it. It's kind of cool. Well, it's awesome cool, actually, if you think about it. All right, man. Okay. I'm going to say a couple things about class. JD. Hang on one second, everybody. Can you just kind of... Can you guys just... Can you just, like, see what's going on? All right. Okay. So, you got a couple things, right? So first off, we'll do Top Hat. In Canvas, it shows you the code that you need for Social 119. So when you go to the homepage in Canvas, you'll see it, right? It's really easy. I'll put it up. We'll do it next class too. But we'll do Top Hat in class. We're not doing it today, so you don't have to worry about it today. That's how you'll take attendance in this room. you have to read the syllabus, y'all. Like you have to read. I sent an email out to everyone else. I'll send it out again. I want to make sure that you see it, but it's also in the syllabus. This is an in-residence class. You come to class. We also live stream the lectures. I'm going to put the link up in a second, and we record the classes. So on 6 occasions throughout the semester, you can just stay home and watch class from the comfort of your home. We have 5 cameras in the room. It's not just like there's one camera in the back. There's 5. It's like, when we'll bring people up. We bring people up in front of class every single day. So this is the most you will ever hear me talk, that I'll be up here by myself. And so you can watch the live stream, or you can just watch the recording. And the way you get attendance credits, if you watch the live stream and the recording, is you take a quiz on Canvas. So, we're writing quiz questions, and then, right after class, we try to get the quiz up. And so if you're watching the live stream, you just wait 15 or 20 minutes, and then you just take the quiz. If you watch the recording, you just go into Canvas for that day, and you take the quiz. Cool? 6 times. After that, unless we, whatever, read what I read. Unless, you get COVID or something, then we'll deal with it. But that's how we roll. Okay, next one, my friend. Those are the live stream channels. We're live right now on both those spots. So if you feel like you want to chat during class, because how we doing, bro? Are we good? Yeah. All right. So wait. Hang on. Don't say where the soldiers are from. Okay, what do you got? What's going on? Here, hang on.
Check. So just a brief, without any actual, information. So pretty much the team that is in Afghanistan, they're on ground. They're en route to a spot where they will be getting, or they're trying to get the attention of soldiers that will go ahead and escort them inside the airport, and then they will take off and go to a different country.
Are they all there?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
It seems that yes. I think they said 2 teams are there now.
Yeah. Cool,
so that's the update. I haven't gotten down to the newest messages yet, though.
All right, cool. Go to the next slide. So anyway, those are we'll send those out, right? You got that? You see where it is? It's pretty simple. Next one, I think we have it. So leave it right there. If you want to join a chat, like we don't really encourage, but look, you're in class, right? And I don't know, you have phones, and like you kind of like have to be. The way I see it, I think these phones right here. Can I touch your phone, Bill? I don't know. I think I'm all right. Well, you have to ask nowadays. You know what I mean? This thing. First off, dudes, this is effing. This is amazing. You have access to the world right here. Like I have a team member in Colorado who is guiding these along with somebody from Europe. They were guiding these people on the streets of Afghanistan who were trying to stay away from the Taliban to the point where they needed to go with cell phones. You understand? Like she's watching them, tracking them, the whole thing, and guiding them into where they want to go with this thing. This is the most amazing little piece of technology ever in the history of life, probably, except malaria medication, probably. But okay, so I like you having cell phones on in your. You have cell phones out. If I'm talking about something in class, and you think it's interesting, look it up, right? Whatever it is, I don't know. That should just inspire you if we're talking about things. So, if you feel like engaging in back channel chats with people in the class or people around the world, because people from other places watch the class. At some point in the semester, there'll be about, I don't know, last semester was about 180 countries or something. Someone's tuning in somewhere. But you can be chatting with people who are watching maybe from, I don't know, like Algeria or something, right? or wherever, I don't know, Mexico, Peru, the UK. And, you could be chatting with them about what's going on in the classroom, right? So in either of those two places. So that's just a thing. I think that's a good thing. It's back channel. You know what I mean? You get it's back channel. Like, you don't have to turn to the person next to you. You can have a conversation with your friend back there or somebody back there. You don't even know who they are. And you're just saying, like, hey, I don't know, whatever. Be kind, be nice. There are rules on the chat. We'll work on that. I'll introduce you to the mods. All right, bro, what do we got? Anything else? Are we... Oh, no, just right here. Okay, so next slide. Okay, my friends, this is... what time is it, by the way? Okay. Oh, we're making great time. This class... Are there any questions, by the way? You're going to talk a lot in here, but does anyone have a question you just want to ask right now, just off the top of the bat? Not about how the class works, because that's in the syllabus. I think it's like a 15-page syllabus, so you have to read that. It's all good. You take a syllabus quiz, you get points for reading. You get points for reading, bro. How effing awesome is that? You get points for reading the syllabus. So, you know how, like, professors are like, you need to read the syllabus. Make sure you read the syllabus. I'm like, I've been teaching so long that I don't even waste my breath telling you to read the syllabus. I just give you points to do it, and then you do it. And even then, you'll probably skim it. But whatever, it's all good. This class is about you all. I'm here as a moderator / facilitator. I'm here to just put the issues out into the room, and then we talk about them, but in particular, you talk about them. And what you do is you tell us, the rest of the class, what you see from your place, from your shoes. It's not the truth, it's not right, it's not this, it's just what you see. Just from your angle of the world, right? And we're all different. Like, you grew up in a all brown, a mixed race suburb that's all upper middle class. And that's just how you see things. That's your life. That's just the way it is. Or you grew up in Shanghai, China, or Mexico City, or wherever it might be. Tell us what you see. So what we do are these things, we call them case studies. And a case study is when we take an issue and some of you volunteer to come up in front of the class and we talk about what it is that you see about these issues. And I ask you questions, you ask each other questions, I show you some data perhaps. It may go in lots of different directions. I'll ask you questions maybe you've never been asked. You'll do the same thing with each other. Maybe people in class, maybe someone on the stream, who knows. We'll see it in one way or another. But we bring the issues to life. It's not me lecturing. There's no, you know what? You don't need, there's no notes here. There's no taking notes. I mean, you could take notes if you want, but you don't need to, there's nothing that I say in this class that you need for any kind of exam or quiz or anything like that. So your job is to just sit back and think and to participate. It's all about volunteering, right? Volunteering is the key. It's not about God. This is not a talk show. It's not a game show. This isn't Wendy Williams. Is she the one that's always trying to call people out and shit? Well, one of those people. There's none of that here, right? It's not how it operates. You will never. There might be a point in which you feel like you don't have the answer to something, and that's awesome because you don't have the answer to a million things. I don't have the answer to most questions you could possibly ask me. And so, but that's not what this is. The questions that we would ask you are tell us what you see. What do you experience? What do you observe? What do you see in the world that you have lived in and the path that you have walked? That's volunteering for these case studies. And the class only works when you all are willing to volunteer and come up in front of the class either stand or sit or whatever the case is, and you get a microphone and you talk. Again, it's low hanging fruit. Nothing really too intense, nothing really hard. It's just so utterly fascinating to hear from each other. There are students in this classroom from all over the world, all different backgrounds, so many different perspectives. And then we will bring those out and talk about them. Volunteering. And the way you volunteer is you go to sociallytheme.org/volunteer. And what it does is it walks you through a survey in which we ask you a bunch of questions, right? Like your name and we want your cell phone, because a lot of times we'll just text you before class and say, hey, can you volunteer today? Here's the topic. A lot of times we won't even tell you the topic because it doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. And then we ask you, what's your ancestry and what's your religion and maybe what's your socioeconomic class, or where do you live? Are you international? Are you from the U.S.? Have you traveled abroad? I mean, there are different questions that we ask just because we never know what the issue is that we're going to be talking about in the day. And it may be like, hey, you know what? We're going to talk about Islam today. Or we're going to talk about religion. And it's really be nice if we had someone who's like a Christian and someone who's Hindu, Muslim, Jewish. So maybe we'll look for those people. Okay? And then you sign a waiver. You just click off on a waiver. And what the waiver says is, hey, yeah, I know I'm volunteering, and it's all good. Sam's not going to, I'm going to uplift you, always. You just will never, ever sound stupid, and you will never be laughed at. You will not be challenged. You will just share your experience. Hang on. Unless you have one of those personalities that's really fun, like if I was volunteering myself, I have one of those personalities where I'd want to be challenged. You know what I mean? It'd be fun. It'd be interesting. But I read that. It's all good. You won't be challenged. You won't be told you're wrong, or you won't be. It's not what that is. It's not what it is. You'll see. We're gonna do something in a few minutes. Then you understand that we're live streaming, right? We have cameras. We're live streaming. It's all good, and so we are. And so you got to sign off on that. Cool. And you get extra credit. You get 1 point. You get 1 point every time you volunteer. But you don't get a point if you raise your hand and I'm like, hey man, and you want to say something in the microphone. And what's your name, by the way?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel? Where are you from?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh?
Yep.
Pittsburgh. All right. Steelers, right? All right. Okay. Listen, man. That's Emmanuel from Pittsburgh. He doesn't get extra credit for that. You know what I mean? Now, if your name was Sam or something, then maybe. But, Emmanuel, nah, dude. Samuel, Emmanuel. Wait, Emmanuel, that's a book in the Bible, isn't it? No, it's not. You think I would know that? I'm baptized as a Christian, and I'm christened as a Christian. I'm a Christian. I did accidentally convert to Islam a number of years ago. In Istanbul, and maybe I'll tell you the story. It's a very cool story. A Sufi converted me, and it was awesome. And so I guess I'm still I'm Muslim, I'm Christian. I'm named after my mother's Jewish gynecologist, Samuel Zucker. So I always Jews are people of the book, right? So I always, what would I be? The people of the book, this is awesome. So I'm of the book, so I claim a little bit of that, and why not? And I spent time in a Buddhist monastery, so okay, I kind of take that on a little bit. whatever. And I'm an atheist, so it's all good. But that's just between me and God. So she and I, we work that out. And it's all good. Emmanuel, do you see God as a she? Do you believe in God? Wait, hang on a second. Can I talk to you a second? Do you feel like standing up? You don't have to. You got it, man. All right, man. Come on. All right. First off, there you are, man. How? So you're from Pittsburgh? Yeah. Hey, wait.
Yes.
First lesson when you volunteer. Watch that. See, the mic. It's on. It's turned on. You got to hold it really close to your mouth. What year are you?
Freshman.
Freshman?
Yes.
How many classes have you had?
Today?
Dude, hang on a sec. Get a shot. Wait, are you okay being on the live stream?
Yeah.
You are. All right, man. Get a close-up shot. Emmanuel, the freshman. Right, okay. We're dude. What are you clapping for? All he said was that's not worthy of a clap. Okay. So, do you believe in God?
Yes.
Are you Christian?
Yeah.
You should try Islam sometime. It's kind of cool. I mean, you pray, you get exercise while you're praying, which is awesome. You got to figure out where you're going to pray like this or like that. I mean, there are a lot of things, like you're going to be Sufi Shia or Sunni or Shia or whatever. Okay. Listen. When you can think about God in your mind, what pronoun do you use for God? Let me ask you this.
I use he.
You use what?
He, him.
He?
Yes.
How'd you get to he? Like, why he?
Well, when I read the Bible, it refers to God as a he.
Yeah. I have a Bible written from a women-centered Bible that refers to God as a she. This is pretty cool. All right, but it refers to God as a he.
Yeah.
So in your mind, well, what does God look like? First off, can you go back to that first shot, bro? The very first slide. Yeah, can you just dude, that right there. When you think about Jesus, do you think about the white Jesus?
Nah.
What do you think who do you see when you think about Jesus?
Well, that's always in a lot of the photos.
Uh-huh.
But from where Jesus was actually born,
Yeah.
the features that he has from, I think, Jerusalem.
Yeah, the whole area. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what he.
We call it in the Levant. Anybody from the Levant here? Anyone from Syria, Jordan, Israel? Dude. Yeah. Wait, hang on. You look kind of brown. Where are you from? See this guy? He's gonna try to confuse us here. Where are you from? Oh, you're Lebanese? Oh, perfect. All right, 100%. All right, bro. Did you get a shot of the Lebanese guy? Yellow. Because see, the problem is, okay, camera ops. You understand, dude? Raise your hand so my yellow guy can find you. Yellow, find him over there, and put him up on the screen, everybody. Hang on, you're gonna be on the screen, bro. All right, we're still training our camera ops. Hey, in the back. Okay, there it is. Zoom in, bro. You got it. There you are. All right. That's what Jesus would have looked like, right? Right. Longer hair. If you had my hair, you'd be good, right? Okay. So, but why a he? He, like God the Father. Like, why not God the Mother? Have you ever thought about this? Hold the mic close.
Yes, yeah, I have thought about that. But the Bible, in my opinion, in my religion, is absolute. So
Yeah, but dude, my Bible is with a she. God's a she. I mean, if you just grew up with that Bible, if your mom was a feminist, is your mom a feminist?
Yeah.
She is?
Yeah.
Right. Well, there it is. So she didn't discover the Bible, but if she did discover this one anyway, then you'd have grown up with God as a woman. So you'd be reading that, and you'd be talking about she, and she loves me, and she really loves you, right?
Yeah.
She wants the best for you. She wants you to not sin so that you will go to heaven and be with her. How's that sound? I'm talking about God, not your mother, by the way, all right?
It sounds like pretty interesting to me, thinking of God as a woman.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song by Ariana Grande,
Yeah. All right.
I like to have fun with it and think about it that way as well. But always when I go to my church, they refer to him
Yeah,
as a
okay.
he. So,
All right. So is there anybody in the class, it'd be cool if it's a woman or a man, it doesn't really matter. Is there anybody in the class who just always refers to God as a she? Anybody does that? I want to give you, am I the only one here? Am I the only one? Dude, okay. Are there any women who anybody who would like to weigh in on this? Any feminists? Am I the only feminist in here? Like, what's up? Anybody want to weigh in it? Anyone feel like it? Dude, Jesus, how about you? You got anything to say about it? This is your father, my friend. This is your father we're talking about. Oh my God. Dude, did you say that?
Yeah.
All right. This is your mother we're talking about, my friend. Your mother. See, she caught me. I tripped up right there. Okay, so look. Think about this, right? If you think about the idea of a God, God who gave birth in a way to all of life itself. Really, because this is the way we conceptualize God in the West, right? The Judeo-Christian kind of monotheistic God as God giving birth. And like in many traditional societies, the image of God is of a woman, and what you see in the image of these old images is the womb of the woman, where God, because this is part of it, God births life out of God's womb, and God is seen as a women sort of creation, right? Like this feminine face of God kind of thing. And so God's birthing life out of herself, which makes so much sense. Like, you know what I mean? It makes so much sense. Of course, I don't know where, God needed the seed to do that, right? So that's where the man comes. But just the idea that she is. So if you grew up, do you have anything to add to that, bro? Wait, what's your major, by the way?
My major?
Yeah.
Biology on a pre-med track.
Biology.
Yes.
Okay, so this is right up your alley. Okay.
So what I think about, since I read the Bible and everything comes from the Bible, what the Bible actually says from Genesis is that God created. It didn't like birth everything. So
well, God created like what? Like like the idea created like through here, right? Because women create. I mean, this is the nature, right? You birth life. You birth all of life. This is the universe right here. You were once. Anyway, go ahead.
I guess when I think of creating, I think of it magically appearing. I don't know how it really went.
Yeah, I got you.
But
magically appearing.
Yeah, over the course of 7 days or 6 days, he created the universe basically, and on the seventh day he rested. So those are pretty much my thoughts. I don't think of him actually birthing everything.
Emmanuel. So one time I was in the mountains of Mexico, and I did mushrooms, and and I watched. Okay. Seriously, you know what mushrooms are, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're a biology major, so you probably grow them. All right, and no, that would be plant biology. All right, so I remember these were like real. This was serious. These were people who they used mushrooms for their ceremonies, right? I mean, this dude. So I'm going to just tell you. Are you comfortable up here, just standing?
Yeah.
All right? Because sometimes people think it's kind of awkward, but, we're here, you and I, right? Okay, so we rolled into this village. It was above the clouds, right? And a crazy, crazy story, but in any case, I found where I was going to go. I was just going to stay in this little space, And this guy comes along with, says, do you want some hongos? ¿Quieres hongos? And I'm like, dude, that's why I'm here. So he brings a banana leaf with these fresh mushrooms, man. Dude, I ate them, and I don't know, an hour later, I saw God, first off. I started as an atheist. I became a theist, and I watched the birth of life itself. And I saw that God was a woman, but that's neither here nor there. But I always had this idea that this is one of these ways in which men, and first off, I'm not like this radical feminist. I'm just a person. I make observations, and I have this observation that it's just so fascinating that we don't refer to God as a female. It's just so fascinating. Like, what would it be for all the men? Like, if like instead of talking about mankind, we would talk about womankind. And then you would talk about the her and the she. You know what I mean? It just would be very different. You would see things very differently. And I think we'd probably see women different. Any thought on that? Any thought on ongos? You know what ongos are? Ongos are mushrooms. You probably have never done.
Yeah, no thoughts on the mushrooms. But
you're only 18. I wouldn't recommend it either. Not until you're 19 at least. All right.
But I guess it all depends. You're right. We've always thought of God as a man, probably because that's all everyone's ever thought of since generations old. And,
yeah, go ahead. Dude, it's all you. You're getting a close-up.
I'm not going to talk for long.
The camera ops are still learning. So, yeah, get him, man. Okay, you're killing it. You look good.
Thanks. But seeing God as a woman is just, I don't know. It's like a norm to see God as a man, which is why whenever you ask everyone, nobody really saw God as a woman.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not a problem.
I saw God. All right, but that's all right.
Yes, yeah, you did. But it's just one of those things that.
Dude, I got you, man. This is one of the things. We just take certain ideas and we turn them around and spin them around.
Yeah, it is an interesting approach, though.
It's cool.
I'll give you that.
It's awesome. Yeah, we just expand our minds. You don't have to think one way or another way or whatever. But, like when I was in first off, that's what I looked like when I was in South America. My beard was thicker. And there were times, so I was hanging out. I was studying, working with priests in Ecuador, studying them. It was my research. And I would go into these small communities or villages, and like I'd go in maybe like on horseback or whatever with the priest who would visit once a year. And the priest would be going once in a while, and he would tell the story of, it's a Christian story, right? Jesus, and Jesus is coming again. And, there'd be all these images of Jesus that look like that, the white Jesus kind of thing. And there were times when we'd roll into a village, and somebody would come up to the priest and be, Padrecito, ¿está él? ¿Es Jesús? Right? Because they heard that Jesus was coming again. They never saw a white guy. Like, I show up, I look like Jesus from the images they see. The only ones they've ever seen, I've been in villages where airplanes went over and people were asking me, like, what is that kind of thing, right? So Jesus is coming, so it's like, is that him? So like, I had the experience of being Jesus. And just fucking awesome, you know what I mean? I mean, God. Wait, I said fucking. Okay, well, I said it twice. All right, thanks, man.
Oh, do I get points for this?
Dude, you get a point. You just
thank
get one.
you.
Don't, dude. Yeah, don't get greedy, my friend. You get one. I have a feeling you'll get another one at some point, though. Hey, by the way, I try not to. I get excited about things. I try not to swear, but there's just something like dropping a perfectly placed F-bomb. You know what I mean? It just works. So I won't do it very often. I limit it to one a day or whatever. Sometimes I don't do any, but what are you going to do? Okay. What time is it? 5:40. Wow. Okay. Well, that wasn't really a case study. I mean, it was in a way, but it really wasn't. It was just me talking to Emmanuel. I was going to do something else. But why don't we do this? Could we... Can we just like... Can we just see who's in the room really fast? So So what I'd like you to do is you're going to have to get a shot. You're going to have to get like a shot of the room, and you guys on the side can kind of get a shot of the room. What? Oh, Niche. Oh, damn it. Is Niche here? Niche. Okay, bring Niche on. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Niche. Oh. Hang on, you got to meet Niche. Yo. Wait, can you see me? You got me. What's up?
Hi, can you hear me?
Dude, we got you, man. Loud and can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Niche is going to be when you send in the survey to volunteer, first off, you'll meet Niche at some point. She's going to be up here next week, so she'll like roll in and say hi. But Niche was one of our directors on the live stream. You worked on the live stream for 4 years, right, Niche?
Yeah, 3.5, 4. Well, this will be the 4th year.
Damn. All right. Anyway, she's the one that's coordinating. And when you get an email or a text message saying like, hey, do you want to be on the stream today because you volunteered? That's who you're getting it from. All right. Tell us your perspective on the live stream, on volunteering. Tell us, like, what do you see? Because we want to get people to see it somewhere.
So when you volunteer, it's basically just a conversation between you, whoever else is volunteering, and Sam. We're just trying to open up a dialogue about whatever the topic is. We're just trying to hear your opinion. We want to see how the world is from your eyes. And it's not about a gotcha moment or we tripped you up. Oh, you said something bad. We really just want to hear what you have to say. I mean, I volunteered before and all those years ago, and I'm still here and I'm okay.
Wait, are we sure? You all right? All right. Hey, wait, Niche. I want to know, like, and like what? So the idea of the gotcha moment thing, right? Like, because a lot of people are nervous. I asked a few people before class, hey, would you like to volunteer to be on the stream? Because we didn't have anybody yet. And few people said yes, a few people said no. What do you think about being nervous and talking? Right? Well, hang on. Bro, hold on a second, Niche. Hang on. Emmanuel, stand up again. You don't get a point for this, all right? How was that for you, just to be up here talking and stuff?
Well, I was a little nervous, stating my thoughts in front of everyone. But I mean, it's just your thoughts. I mean,
But yeah, and look at you now, right? It's
yeah,
all
I'm
good?
okay.
All right, thanks, dude. Wait, is there anything I could have done to make you less nervous?
Probably not.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did pretty good.
maybe not
Making me
talking
feel.
about
You made me feel more comfortable.
more comfortable. I know exactly, right? Yeah, exactly. Thanks, man. Niche. So we're not doing gotcha moments. This is like it's cool, right?
It's truly just to hear what you have to say. We want to just understand how you view the world and what your opinion is on said topic. So there's no right or wrong answers. We're not trying to get you in trouble. We're not trying to oh, he thinks this, everyone go after him. This is not that kind of environment.
We don't want you to end up on Fox. You won't end up on Fox News. All right. I might end up on Fox News, but you'll be all right. All right, Niche.
We miss you.
What's that?
It's so weird not being there.
I know, it's very odd you not being here. Yep. But you will be here, my friend. All right, you can just hang out and just, anybody have anybody who's got a question they would like to ask? Not about how the class works, just a question you want to ask before we get started. And maybe Niche, you can answer it, I'll answer it. Bro, you are on, man. First off, say your name and then,
My name's Jared Williams. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wait, Jared?
Jared.
Wait, are you the guy that
J-A-R-E-D.
just added the class?
Yeah,
Dude, okay.
thank you. I was wondering.
Nice Crocs, by the way.
You like them?
Yeah. Wait, are Crocs in?
Yeah.
Wait, are they in the black community? Like, the Crocs finally hit the black community? Because when black people do shit, then it becomes cool, right? White people are like, all right.
I mean, they're in the black community first.
Crocs
Dang.
were?
Yeah,
My friend.
my brother.
Crocs. my, Crocs are the whitest. They're whiter than fanny packs, all right? Like Crocs were in the white community 20 years ago. Black people wouldn't even walk on the same sidewalk if they saw a white person walking in Crocs, man, because that made them look uncool as they made white people look. But go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering what that thing is in your hand.
What this is in my hand?
Yeah.
These are, they're prayer beads. These are prayer beads from Egypt, actually. My friend Bassam, who you will meet, brought them to me. Yeah, when he visited. So,
Thank you.
yeah, it just helps me to stay focused. And yeah, it's really cool. That's like silver. These are really unique to Egypt. Like, you won't find these many other places. I got to maintain my Muslim side, you know what I mean? So I got to hold it up. The problem is the guy, after I converted, right? So what happened, it's a very cool story. But I repeat, in Islam, it's very similar, those of you who are Christian, Emmanuel, right? Like, did you receive Jesus as your personal Savior? Have you done that already? Yeah, you got that. All right. So, it's very similar. Like, I accept Jesus as my personal Savior and da-da-da-da. There's certain, you say it differently, but it's mostly the same. Well, in Islam, it's a similar thing, right? I believe there is no God but Allah and da-da-da-da, right? And Muhammad is his, prophet and most important prophet. I mean, Jesus is a prophet too, by the way. But anyway, so I said that, but I said it in Turkish, and then I said it in Arabic, and I didn't know what I was saying. And when I got done, I realized, oh shit, I'm a Muslim. I'm like, oh, damn. And then at first I thought, well, that's kind of wild. And then I thought, no, it's pretty cool. Like, I'm not got covered. You want to cover all your bases. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what happens when you die. So I'm like, well, okay. But then the guy said, he didn't speak English, but somebody else said that he said, well, now you can't believe in evolution. And I'm like, nah, come on, man. I can't have that. So, all right. How much time? Anyone have a watch? You have a watch on? 3 minutes? All right, man. Another question. Someone asked a question. Bro, you got a question? Man, all right. Awesome. Normally, we'll have Jeff right there, that dude, right? Second row. We'll have other people walking around with a microphone, but.
It is on for you.
Bro. All right, man.
My name is Jeremy. I'm a sophomore, and I was just curious because you seem like a person who's been to many places. What is your favorite country that you've been to and why?
Well, the most interesting, first off, the most fascinating country I was in terms of deep culture, you can sit down now, by the way. It's just now we got you on video. No, if it's awkward, it doesn't matter, but Japan just rocked my world in a way. Japan just rocked my world. But first off, I'm really connected to Latin America because Ecuador is like a second home. But but my wife and I have an apartment in Bogota, so in Colombia. But I love the Middle East, man. I just love the Middle East. There's something about Arab cultures in particular that. And I saw it as a different way in Israel, right? But there's parts of the same culture, right? But there's something about the hospitality and there's something, man. It's just I feel like I feel really connected. Yeah, there's something about that. Yeah, but I have a lot of cool experiences actually. Anybody else have a final question? Do we have time? We got 1 minute. Dude, 1 minute. We need one question. Just some question from somebody. Anybody?
Right in front of you. Right next to the stairs to your left. Right there.
Awesome, man. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Olivia. Third year.
Olivia?
Yes, or you can call me Liv.
Liv?
Just going back to the topic of God and pronouns, I was wondering if you ever thought of God with the pronouns they, them.
You know what? I really would. Yes. And I think the only reason I do the she is just because it's more fun. You need like to balance out that. Well, first off, I just see God in this creative space, right? But really a they them makes sense. But because it's they them, it's male female. It's neither, right? So they them is awesome, and I love the they them pronouns, and I think it's cool, and I think it's really a step forward for us. So, and truthfully, I would refer to God as they them.
Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, man. All right, y'all. Listen, we will see you.